A lot of American students grow up with the basic information that our nation was home to Native Americans until settlers from Great Britain arrived and claimed the land that was occupied by indigenous people. However, Great Britain did not establish what is now known as the United States on its own. Many of our most distinctive locations, like New Orleans and New York, weren't established by the English, but were eventually taken by the English from other European settlers. During the 1600s, seafaring European nations were trying to catch up to Spain's colonial empire. Besides England and France, Sweden and Holland were also trying to compete in the New World. The Western Hemisphere is a big place, and initially, the European settlers spread out and avoided each other. But it didn't take long for old European rivalries to spill into the New World. All of these nations had been competing for power and dominance in Europe. Now, they were doing the same thing in North America, and only one of them could come out the winner. You've learned how the first French explorers hoped to find the Northwest Passage, an all-water route to Asia that avoided Spanish territory to the south. France tried several times in the 1500s to get a foothold in North America, especially modern-day Canada. After several failures, they turned most of their energy into settling the Caribbean islands. However, some of the settlers from failed and struggling colonies remained, and individuals came to North America to make their own fortunes, particularly in fishing and the fur trade. As a result, New France looked a lot different than other colonial empires. For one thing, there weren't many towns, mostly just trading posts scattered throughout New France. There were conflicts between French settlers and Iroquois Native Americans, but these were largely a result of an alliance between French settlers and the Algonquin Native Americans, one of the Iroquois' rivals. French settlers generally befriended the Native Americans they encountered, working with them as colleagues in the fur trade especially. Leaders in New France deliberately sent young men to live among the indigenous people, to learn their language and survival tips. Since there were barely more than 3,000 colonists in all of New France by 1665, single Frenchmen were encouraged to marry Native American women, often against their will, in order to increase the population of the empire. In time, New France would use this alliance with Native Americans to fight English expansion. In 1670, an English joint stock company set up business in Canada to get a foothold in the lucrative fur business. France didn't try to fight them off, they just moved farther south, as far as the Gulf of Mexico. Though most of the area was sparsely populated, other than a few military